The scenes that they got right in Blockheads, you could see the early attempts at it in this short film. Today we are doing a little review on Laurel and Hardy's Unaccustomed As We Are. It is a short film from 1929. Now, a lot of their movies, feature-length films, are kind of a combination of some older shorts and places. So this here short film would have been a chunk out of Blockheads, the last review we did, and essentially it's the part where he brings, in Blockheads, where Ollie brings Stanley to meet the wife. Basically that's what this short film is. And you know what, it is actually pretty funny. And you know, you can see, if you know Blockheads and you watch this film, you can see the scenes that they got right in Blockheads. You could see the early attempts at it in this short film. So Ollie brings Stan back to meet the wife and to get her to make dinner for him, and you know, Ollie is completely henpecked by the wife, and you know, he's telling Stanley about how nice she is, but they get there and the wife is just like, you know, raging that Ollie would bring Stanley back and expect her to make dinner for him. And there's a big argument between Oliver and the wife, and there's a section where she is giving it to him, just blah 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 blah, and he's not making any headway with her. So he turns the radio on, playing this song, and you see she's still shouting at him, and then eventually she starts shouting in rhythm with the song playing on the radio. So funny. But she walks out and Oliver decides to try and make dinner. And the Blockheads version of it, Stanley turns the oven on, same in this film. Then Ollie goes in to do it properly, and there's an explosion in the kitchen. Now in Blockheads, Oliver actually came out. There's a shot of the sitting room, Stanley sitting, there's the explosion in the room next door. Ollie comes out through the kitchen door like Superman, and the whole room gets destroyed. This film here, similar setup, but you hear the bang and Ollie just falls out from the kitchen door, and there's like a big puff of smoke comes out. So it's, you know, you can see the progression between that and Blockheads and what they were trying to do. After the explosion, Mrs. Kennedy from across the hall comes over and offers to help. She goes into the kitchen, there's an explosion, she gets her dress all dirtied, and she goes to get changed. As she goes out, she sees the husband coming, but then Oliver says, she comes in, she's kind of freaking out, what am I going to do here? The husband's going to see me, blah blah blah. Comes back and Oliver's like, tell the truth. He goes to take her out to the husband, and as he's going out, he sees his wife coming back, and then he starts to panic. You know, the wife's going to kill me if she finds you in here. So they hide her in a trunk, and you know, the wife comes back and she's apologising and whatnot, and Ollie, he's pretending to leave again. As she goes out, as they go out, they're trying to carry the trunk, Oliver and Stan. And Mr. Kennedy comes in, and the wife, she's screaming and don't leave me, blah blah blah. And he comes in to sort it out, but he gets him to take the trunk to his house, because he figures out there's a girl in the trunk that Oliver's trying to hide, not knowing that it's actually his wife. So they're all over in his flat, Stan, Ollie, Mr. Kennedy. Of course Mrs. Kennedy's in the box, and Mr. Kennedy's giving it the big man act after being Oliver's wife, don't worry, I'll sort this out for you, I'll have a chat with these two. And you know, he's like, you know, if you want to go out and meet girls and stuff, you know, don't bring them back home, you know, come out with me some night and I'll show you how to do it properly, sort of thing. So he says, go back over there and back to your wife, and everything will be fine and well now. So once they leave, he's like knocking on the box and come out, my pretty, and all this here. But just previous to this, as he's leaving Oliver out the door, the wife actually gets out of the trunk and she's hiding in the flat, and he opens the trunk, there's nobody there, she comes out, gives him a kicking, there's a fight starts over there. So over in Oliver's house, they're having dinner, nice and quiet with the wife and whatnot, they're finally getting on. The wife's all friendly again, she's made dinner for the two of them, and they're sitting there, and Mr. Kennedy comes to the door says to Ollie, right, you come here, takes Ollie out into the hall, whack, gives him a black eye, sends him back in. Ollie's on, he's holding the nose and stuff, and he sits down, and as he sits down, Mr. Kennedy again is like, whistles at Stanley, come here. So they go out, close the door, Oliver knows he's going to get hammered. But you see out in the hallway as Mr. Kennedy is like going back to give Stan a slap in the nose, Mrs. Kennedy comes out of the house, or the flat behind him, with a vase over her head, and she like comes down over the top of Mr. Kennedy, knocks him unconscious. Oliver hears a bang, and they in his house, and he's like, Stanley's been killed. The next thing, Stanley comes in, gets his hat to leave, and as they come out, you know, Mr. Kennedy's unconscious in the corridor, and you know, Oliver actually thinks that Stanley knocked him out, where, you know, it's always the thing where Oliver would be the stronger out of the two of them, like, you can't believe it. So Stanley, he's like walking off like, yoo-hoo, you know, I'm the big man for a change. He gets to the top of the stairs, gives him a wave, and goes to walk away, trips over his own feet, down the stairs. Typical Laurel and Hardy fashion. That's a brilliant little film. I really enjoyed this one. But as I say, if you've seen Blockheads, you see the perfected version of this film. But it's just nice to actually like, go through this box set, and as I say, seeing the earlier attempts at stuff that they later got polished and done fantastically well.